אך גם הלא הזו אי אפשר ליאס כי אם על ידי המשוך התחילו מלמיילו. Also, this elevation that the Leviim do, it cannot take place without first having Amshacha from above so that you can elevate it. That Amshacha takes place with the Kahanim. The Kahanim bring down the Amshacha and the Leviim make the Halor. Therefore, the Leviim would not begin their service. First, they had to come to Kahanim. They would place each person with the Avodah. So first the Kohanim came in and they covered all the Kalim of the Mishkan, and then they placed each one their Avodah, and everybody went to the Avodah. Vayidaber the Bamidbar Sinai Hanal, Vayidaber in Midbar Sinai that mentioned earlier. Bezo inyan hakorbonos. And this is the idea of the korbonos. Shahoyu halevim akahanim akrivim beis kvosim tmidim liyoim. The korbonos that the kahanim would make the korban tamid, 2 sheep every day. That was the hamshacha from the kahanim. That was the kvosim. Also, that's part of the service. Before we have the halah, we have the hamshacha the kvosim. Kihinei. Megimul Rishonis, the Adam Kadmen, the Ak, EF Shali is Shum Hamshacha. From the first 3 levels, that's Chochma Bin Adas, of Adam Kadmen, that's the level of Bria, of Klolus, EF Shali is Shum Hamshacha. Rak Mezayin Tachtonis, only from the 7 lower ones. Vayim Beitz Chaim Shar Igulim V'Yosher Anavhei. V'zou Al Yidei HaKvosim. The 7 tachtonis, the hamshocha comes through the sheep that they offered the kohanim. Ki v'haksovim hifrid Yaakov. Because when we talk about the kavosim, we see by Yaakov separated the kesovim, and Yaakov is the idea. Yaakov b'china zayin tachtonis. He's level zayin tachtonis. Likutei Torah Masei. So what was the avodah of Yaakov Aksovim for Yaakov? Who was mamshich as b'chinas hakvosim, the level of the zayin tachtonis lamata. Dahainu sheyumshchu mishorsha sheb'chinas zayin tachtonis darichampin. That they should come down from their source of the zayin tachtonim of arichampin into below. So, saying that what is the idea? This all has to do with the idea of kivosim. That's the idea of Amshochas Amidus. What's the connection with kivosim with the Zayin Tachtonis? So first of all, he brings from Yaakov, Akasovim is for Yaakov, that the Kasovim, Yaakov is the level of Zayin Tachtonis. And also, we talk about the Sadei Shekamar Nikei. That's also represented. The hair of his head is like clean wool, which is the wool is on the sheep. Is also a Midas Alyonis. The Shorshon and the Shorish of the Midas Alyonis is Mezayin Tachtoines the Atik Hamislabshim Barichampin. Here we're talking about the Zayin Tachtonis of Ak Adam Kadmen. Here we're talking about the Zayin Tachtonis of Atik, which dress up in Arichampin. The Nasim Shom Zayin Tekun Dereisha. And they become, over there in Arichampin, they become the 7 Tikunim of the head. The 7 hairs, 7 Tikunim there. So you have from the Zayin Tachtonis of Adam Kadmen, the Zayin Tachtonis from Atik, and you bring it down, and from there Yaakov drew it down below. Gam le'olam apirid, also to the world of separation. Kidei liyez gam lemato be'olam apirid bitl yeshkuru. So that also below in the world, which is Pirud, there should also be the level of people bitl yesh. The gam bitl yesh. Vuel b'mokem machar inyan tenufas shtei akvos b'chag HaShavuos. Elsewhere is explained what is the idea of raising the two kvos Shavuos. Hayna halos hamidus da'atzilus the shorshon u'mekoyrim b'zayin tachtonis da'arichampin ein shom barichus. So there's also that's the idea of the kvosim in the zayin tachtonis, but here is arichampin. Also, this is also the idea of the 42 masos. So we say Shehim Bechinas for 42, Shehim Bechinas Zayin Midas. There is 7 Midas. Kol Midah Klula Mishisha. Each one includes of 6. So you have 6 times 7 is 42. And this Allah is Ad Shorshom Ad Mekoydim Arishon Shehu Bechinas Odom Kanal, Odom Kadmon Kanal. Everything is elevated all the way till the first root, which is Odom Kanal, Odom Kadmon Kanal. As we said before, Shemokir Hamshochas V'Kol Ha'ishtalshlus U'Mizayin Tachtoines the Odom Kadmon Chulu. The source of the Hamshocha and the entire Ishtalshlus comes from the 7 Tachtoines of Odom Kadmon. U'Kamoshel just like the example of fire, which goes up as high as possible. High as possible means you're raising the midos, you're raising the members masos, you're raising it all the way up to Odom Kadmon. That's the first place, the Zayin Tachtonis of Odom Kadmon. So how come over here it's 7 times 6 and not 7 times 7? How come we don't have the level of Malchus as we're learning these Mamorim? Why over there is it 49 days? And here it's 42. Because Sfiras Ha'omer is bringing down from above to below. So therefore also the Malchus Shebe, which is in each Sfira, Nimne. They're also counted. We also count the Malchus of each Sfira. Mashen came b'shem Ma, b'shem Beis, Shu b'chinas Ha'lo, and level of elevation. Ein Shaykh b'chol Midah Rak Shisha b'chinas. It's only 6, Lo b'chinas Hashvis, but not the 7th. The 7th Sheb'chinas is Galus Lamata. That's the revelation below. That doesn't apply. So Inyan is idea b'chol Moedecha. The idea b'chol Moedecha, which is not the level of his Galus Lamata, but the elevation. In the first Parsha Krishma, which it says B'chol Meidach, that's why there's 42 words over there. Umagam, and also another reason, what also is since we're elevating it also to the first source all the ways in Odom Kadmon, Barenkshe includes Odom Kadmon, and when the midas are included in Odom Kadmon, so over there they are on a level of bitl. It doesn't apply to them. There's no malchus there. There's no giving over there. Everything is included. Everything is bottled in the level of Rotz, in the level of Odom Kadmon. Canal be inyan yehi in the Efsher. Shezo pirish mashikos bezoyer truma Tafkul Nom Beis Omed Beis. So over there it says that Mab Solik V'loy Nochis. It only goes up and it doesn't go down. So it doesn't have the Malchus in there. That means why much it goes to be in Kriyas Yamsuf. The rhythm about Kriyas Yamsuf, Hamoshul Inyan, and then to the idea of Aglidu Maya. So they bring what is the idea that the water froze when there was Kriyas Yamsuf. So all the water froze in the place. It was split and it froze in the place. So they bring an example, that a Chacham doesn't speak in somebody who's greater than him, so it's silent. So it's froze. Doesn't basically there's no Malchus, there's no Ashpoah over there. That's why we only count 42, the elevation that goes up to Ak, and not 49 as the Amshacha in Sudas Mamer. Now, explaining how the other subject, in Shenemar Masois, by Likutei Moshe, what does that say by Masois of Likutei Moshe? When it's by the Il Hapirush, I mean the Hainu Hamshochas Chisomoi Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu Emes. Likutei Moshe means that he brought down the seal of Hashem, which is Emes. The idea is, like by way of example, that through writing, you draw down and the seichel descends, the seichel which is a spiritual matter, and dresses up in a physical act. So writing something down is connecting the spiritual to the physical. You take an intellect, an idea, you put it down on paper. So you're tying down spiritual with physical. Likewise, by way of example, this means also what we say, the seal of Hashem is emes, meaning to bring down the ruchnis and the gashmis. Ki hinei hachochma nikra emes. Chochma is called truth. Why is chochma called truth? Ki ikar hachochma hi yidiyas emes. The main thing, what is the wisdom, is knowing the truth. Sharagam aksil yucholim will daber dvorim. Even a fool is able to say and to speak. It's not going to be directed, it's not going to be true. So just saying words isn't yet true. In order to be true, you need to be a chacham. You have to understand what you're saying. Ba'achacham masig b'chachmos emes, and the chacham understand the truth. V'zeu inyan ha'chochma, and this is the idea of chochma. Ba'al kein nikra emes, nikras emes. That's why chochma is called truth, because that gives you the true grasping of understanding. So, well, derech zeh l'maylo, and similar to this above. Chochma ilo u chochma so'emes. The supreme chochma, that's the true wisdom. What is it, the true wisdom? She'ein oid milvadi, that there's nobody besides Hashem. That's the chochma, that's the emes. Which goes to the Sefer Shel Bernim, Perik Lamed Ba'agor, Ba'al Kein Nikras Emes, and that's why it's called emes. And yet, while we're saying that the chokhmah is chokhmah emes, it's known that chokhmah relative to the Ein Sof, it's considered just like a physical act relative to chokhmah, and even much more than that, infinitely. So while this is called chokhmah emes, and yet relative to Ein Sof Baruch Hu, it's considered just like an act. Gam bechinas Adam Kadmin, Shurotzen Elyon, Ulumayla min HaChochma. So even the level of Adam Kadmin, which is the Rotzen Elyon, is also is higher than Chochma. Ulagabe Yoin Sobaruchu Gam Adam Kadmin, Nikra Adam Debrikana. So it means to say that Chochma relative to the Ein Sof is Be'ein Aroich. Yes, we can another. That's why Chochma, which is, while it is true, but relative, it's Rak, it's only called Chosomesh LaKadosh Baruch. It's only the seal of HaKadosh Baruch. The Nikra by Yichtov Moshe. So this is called Moshe writing it down. It's the Asiya, taking Mekasher, the Ruchnis, the Seichel, into Vayichtov Moshe. That's the Chochma. Because it's already considered like an Asiya. But no. Menikra Vayichtov Moshe, Shaliyos Hamshocha, Me'eren Sobarchu Chochma, Shebechinas Asiya, Legabe Ein Sof, in order to bring down from the Ein Sof into Chochma, and Chochma is on a level of Asiya relative to Ein Sof, Harezeh Kimoshel HaKsiva V'Achoysev, then that's similar to writing and sealing, Shu Inyan His Kashrus V'Amshochas Aruchnas B'Kashmis Kenal. That's tying down and bringing down the spirituality into the physical. This is the idea. Vayichtov Moshe is taking Chochma, is taking Ein Sof and bringing it down in Chochma, taking the Torah, taking Adam Kadmin, higher Ein Sof, bringing it down into Ksiva. That's the Chosomesh LaKadosh. That's the level of Chochma. Derech Prat, this is in a general way. In a specific way, Zehu Inyan, the idea of Torah V'Yichtov Moshe specifically, Zehu Inyan Tikkun Ve'emes Shebeyud Gimel Tikkun Dikna. The Tikkun of Ve'emes, which is in the 13 strands of the beard. So you have Hashem Chesed Ve'emes. So specifically, we're talking about the Hamshocha is what? Is the Tikkun of Emes from the Yud Gimel Tikkun Dikna, from the 13 strands of the beard. That's the Tikkun of Emes. Shehu B'chinas Ha'oras Ponim. That is the level. Tikkun of Emes is the level of the face shines, which is Trein Tapuchim, the two apples. That's the cheeks, which it comes alive. Over there is the revelation of Chochma. So in other words, when you have an idea, your face shines up. That's Toir Ponuch, which she calls Chochmas Odom, Toir Ponuch. Vu'iyan his galus shinayin heinoirim. That is the revelation of the 375 lights, which is Bechinas Odom the Yitzira. That's the level of Odom of Yitzira. Specifically, that happens. That's the Torah going down, the revelation of those 379 Bechinas Odom the Yitzira from the level of Odom the Yitzira. That's from the level of Arich Ampin. Asher Yotzer is Odom b'Chochma. Created Odom b'Chochma. U'b'china zu nikra emes. This level of Toir Ponov, this level, that's called emes. Mash'ein kain shara tikunim, as opposed to the other tikunim of the 13 tikunei dikna, and b'chinas midos. Those are level of emotions. Rachum v'chanon chulu she'enoi be'erech b'chinas ein sof liyas b'smo b'midas. That's not in comparison to Ein Sof, that the Ein Sof should come midas. No, moichin yes, but not midas. V'lav mikol ilan midas ihu klal. He is not at all from this midas, so he cannot come down in the other tikkunim in Racham v'Chanun. Hagam shem rak mukeres hamidas, even though they're only the mokar of the midas, Racham v'Chanun, and still even there it cannot be mispal Ein Sof. Moshe Shushvin the Malka. Moshe as the Shushvin of the king. He brought down the Ein Sof in the tikkun of the emes hanikra choisem. That is called choisem. So inyan. So that's specifically. Generally speaking, we say that he's mamshich from the level of Arechapid, level of Adam Kadmon, Ein Sof, but specifically it's the Tikkun Ve'emes of the Tikkun Dikna. Zo in Yichta Moshchul. Mishom Nimshach Auresponim Bezo. And then from there, you give, so it comes into Zo. Who inyan Titin Emes li Yaakov. Yaakov is Zo. The Zeir Ampin the Midas. That you get the level of emes, level of chokhmah into midas. So, so this through Moshe bringing it down to that level. They had the strength to journey in the ear of the midbar of the idol worshippers, mazolos, lachni aklipis. Why? Because they had the emes, Yaakov, that came down to the midas. Because once you get the chokhmah, they are sorted out, and that's the titan emes Yaakov that comes down to the midas. Magam, and also that it's also kigilu b'chinas chokhmah stimor, because that's also the level of the hidden chokhmah. Shom nimshach hakoyach gam letayer betumas haklippus shelamat to make klippus nagno. Over there extends the power to cleanse from the impurity of klippa, which is even lower than klippus nagno. Moshe Kosu begins hakodesh divra maschel amnimshach parshas sporo chulu einsho. Gam al derech mashin is boyer beinyan u'ma'ayin b'ay. Beis Hashem Yotza. The well comes from the house of Ishkas Nachal Hashitim. Begam Shoydish Meinzeh, and also a root similar to this is Hu Chochma Da'ak Shemislabeshet B'Malchus Da'ak. By Dezeh Mislabeshet Ba'atzilus. And that's where he comes in Atzilus. So from the level of Adam Kadmon comes down the ability to be metayr everything even lower than Klippus Nega, and it dresses up into the lower level from always to the level of Adam Kadmon. And the Torah comes from there. From the levels, from the level of the Kad level of emes, the level. Nikras Torah's emes. That's why it's called Torah's emes, because that's the way the Amshach comes down in Chochmah. It was the main. They drew it with the. This is Ikar Masois, because we learned earlier the first Masois they still came to settled until they. At the luchas, they went without the Torah, but mainly they traveled with the Oren, which had the luchas. Similar now. Through the occupation of Torah, we bring down the level of Titan Emes Yaakov. So we're bringing down, when we learn Torah, we bring down Yuchlu Neshamas Yisrael, Lachnia Haguf, the Neshamas Yisrael are able to subdue the body, which comes from the snake of a serpent. Basically, the lower level, the guf, the body, comes from the clippus, the bottom of to be subjugated and included by it. They need a level of Torah. So we have Torah. Through Torah, it helps. It's just like when they journeyed in the desert, they had the Nesiyah, the Luchas, in the ark that helped subdue it. Same thing, we help subdue our Mishcha Dechivya, our guf, our desert. And also, this is also the meaning of the bracha of the mitzvahs. We say, Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, Yamshocha l'maylo l'mata. That's the Yamshocha from above to below. Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, to bring you down. Then you can bring it up you have the koyach from the beginning of the bracha asher kiddushanu b'mitzvayso to bring it up. Then you bring down the mayim dechurim, the masculine water from above to below, v'tzivonu, which is his kasha the pnim to be connected in. So you also have a similar process. Titin emes leYaakov, you have the Nitzis Oren, and then you have the elevation. Ato yuvan inyan motzaehem l'maseihem u'maseihem l'motzaehem. We have the two languages of Motzaehem. Pirush moitzo. What is it in moitzo? Moitzo means a source. Like you say, the source of water, where the water comes from. That's the level of Odom Kadmon. Shehu Moker Kol HaNeshamas. That's the source of all the neshamas. In this Kaleil, Binyan Koire Haderis Mereish, calls the generation Mereish. Over there is also said that the Doiris can also be the Neshamas Yisrael. So he says, Sha'odom Kadmon, Koilel, Kol Hishtalshlus V'Kol HaNeshamas. Odom Kadmon, that includes the entire Hishtalshlus, all the souls. Ukenoida me'inyan Yisrael olud machshav. Mishom, so that's the moitzo. That's the source. The source is Odom Kadmon. Mishom himshich Moshe ha'ora l'mata l'neshama shebeguf. From there, Moshe drew down the amshochas to the bodies, to the soul in the body. Sha'idei amshochas zu nimshach koyach habitl gam l'mata. That the amshochas, also the bitl below. Ki bebchinas motzaehem ein klulim sham bebchinas ein bitl mamish. Over there, they're actually totally bottled. So what they want to bring down, also below should be the level. In the source, in Odom Kadmon, they're totally bottled. They're like nothing. Through bringing down from Motzaehem, Nimshach Gam Lamato, Bechinas HaBitl also extends below the Bitl. Then you can control, you can dominate also the body. And this is Moshe writes down the Motzaehem. Moshe brings down Torah. Moshe brings down through the Torah the level of Odom Kadmon in the level of emes to give the emes to Yaakov. In the Torah is dressed up the Ratzon Eli Mamish B'chinas Odom Kadmon Kinau. By the Zeh Gam HaOdom Ha'isik Ba. That's why also the person who occupies and learns Torah Mamshich Umeir Al Nafsheh Ratzon Eli Mamish Chulu he draws down and he brings down on his soul the light of the Supreme Ratzon. The Kolzeh, so that's Motzaim, to bring it down, to help the person in his Avodah, to be Mamshech. They liyos lemas'eyem al pi Hashem. So that the journey should go al pi Hashem, on top of the pi Hashem. The Hainu Shaydei Zayibam Koychus al Lamaila Mebchinas Pi Havai. They can go higher than Pi Havai. Ki Pi Havai. That's Oizen Choitem Peh, the ears, the nose, the mouth. That's already the level of Bechinas Malchus. But here it's Moitze Pi Havai. Alba Bechinas Ag Nikra Moitze Pi Havai. That's where the Pi Havai comes from, which is Moker Bechinas Peh Chulu, which is the source of the level of Peh. V'zohu shekosuv. And this is the meaning of the verse, that it's not just that lechem levad yichya odom. So we're talking about odom de le'ela, the odom, the supreme odom of above, shemekabel b'bchinas lechem, that receives from the level of lechem. Lechem is gematria mazlo. Lachem is 78, and Maslow is 78 also. 78 is Gimel Shemes Havaya. Why? Because Havaya is 26, right? How much is 3 times 26? 78, no? Well, if it was 25, it would be 75, right? So you have to add 3 more, so it's 78, right? So that the source of the Meitzah Pi Havaya, Moitze Davke, the Efsher Zehu Inyan Ha'oras Ponim Anal Shalamayla Mebchinas Maila Shalamayla Mebchinas Mazla Mebchinas Sidus, which is in higher. All right.